Good evening po. Maraming salamat sa pagtalo. Sobrang nakakatuwa kasi it's one whole parish together. All the organizations as well. Lahat, PCs and whatever. Lahat po nandito po tayo para matulong kay Father Romel Olivar. Well, he's trying to, no? Okay. Anyway, hindi ako mag-introduce kay Father because the missionary zeal ni Father is always, para sa akin, he finds so much comfort and joy in terms of serving the poor talaga. Kaya, pero, medyo mag-hold tayo mainit kasi it's going to be expounded a bit later. Okay? So, in the meantime, next naman kayo, relax lang. Bago ko eh. Medyo bago ko, iwa ko kasi guys pa lang. Okay, thank you so much again for being here. And in the meantime, okay, welcome to this is in behalf of Santo Domingo Charismatic Community as well as the Parish Formation Ministry. Okay, so welcoming you all to our monthly formation program. Anyway, continue na for next month, April 17, we will have another talk, which is I think pretty relevant and apt. Ito po ay tungkol sa recognizing God's presence amidst suffering. So ito po yun siguro bagay din po sa Easter kasi that is I think 2 weeks after Easter. So this is recognizing Christ's presence amidst mga trials po natin, amidst mga sufferings po natin. That will be on April 17 po. Okay? In the meantime, later on, I think Father will give us after the presentation, meron Q&A or any reflections or any participation which you can voice out. It's most welcome. So, ready ka na, wala naman problema. Okay? So, relax muna kayo when we're handling the technical stuff for a while. Any questions or anything reflecting back right now? Wala po. Naku, paano na? What did I say? Anyway, okay, certain announcements. Tomorrow we will have our parish Lenten recollection naman po. Okay, this is after the 6 p.m. Mass. So tomorrow, parte po tayo again ng parokya, we will have our Lenten recollection. So this is right after our 6 p.m. Mass tomorrow po. So let's hope sana lahat na tayo nandito rin po. Okay? So Lenten recollection, 7 p.m. tomorrow po. Okay? And then the perfect plan I'd like to announce that our basic ecclesiastical group, community, will have its pilgrimage po on March 28th. Okay, so March 28th, ang pilgrimage saan po? Sa Cavite 7 churches po. Okay? So nandiyan po sila, nasa booth po along the corridor, so you can have your tickets. You can buy your tickets. Okay? Sa anytime on Sundays. Okay, are we ready na po? Sige, mag-iba. Any more announcements from the other parish ministries? Wala naman problema. Any other parish ministries that would like to AP? Anybody who wants to share anything? MLCs? Lay ministers? Okay, we have a cross-section of Nandito ang family life as well. Ano pa? GIL, meron nandito, lay ministers. Sino ba? DCs. Santo Niño Chapel are all in. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Joanine? Okay. Joanine. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, anyway, we're hitting 8 o'clock already. Tawang-taway po sila, si Burns talaga. Anyway, okay. Okay na po tayo, Father? Okay, this is none other than Father Romel Olivar.
Magandang po, I just opened my cellphone para check kung mag-exit tayo sa oras. Alas 12 matapos. Yes. So, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. I'm very much honored to be with you. It has been a long time since I was able to give a talk in Santo Domingo. I think it was before my ordination 8 years ago when I was able to give a talk to the Santo Domingo Dominicans. So it's good to be back. Kasi ever since my ordination in 2017, I spent 1 year in Manaoag, and then after that, I've been in Corobianes, Corobian Islands. I was the parish priest of Calayan, 3 islands, Calayan, Corobian, Claro, and Taripiri, from 2018 until 2025. And then last July 2025, I was transferred to Camiguin. That's the 4th island of the Corobianes. And so, kaya ngayon, dati maputi ako. Ngayon, medyo itim na. Dati marami pang buhok, ngayon kalbo na. But God is good, and I know that He sent me here to be with you for an hour tonight. So I hope if you pardon me for, kasi matagal na rin ako hindi nagbigay ng talk sa English. Most of my talks have been in Ilocano, where I've been staying. Kaya medyo nabubulol pa rin ako, nabubulol na ako. Just a short background of my what we are about to share. So, in terms of formation, my academic formation, my inclination is philosophy. And yung specialization ko ay hermeneutics, which is the interpretation of texts, especially religious texts. And i-correlate ito sa tradition, and then later on sa interest ko sa apologetics. Kaya medyo nakikita ko rin na this is an area that the church has not focused so much. Yung apologetics, when traditionally Dominicans have been at the forefront of this ministry. Next slide po. So the outline of this talk is what is apologetics, the history of apologetics, the mission in the Babuyanes, apologetics in context, insights, and then looking forward. Sino na po anyone here familiar with what we mean by apologetics? Has anyone participated in the apologetics ministry? Anyone? Para we can adjust kung sakali. Para hindi masyadong technical. Sir Nestor, have you had some sort of exposure dito?
Good evening to everyone. I think they knew Attorney Marvel Yasos,
Yes.
no? It's more on in defense of the Catholic Church in terms of doctrinal, dogmatic, and of course other issues, other elements of the Catholic faith.
Thank you, Brother Nestor. It's the apologia or the defense of the Catholic faith. And sometimes for us, it has a negative connotation. Yung mga nakikipag-away, di ba? Nakikipag-ibate. But let's look into that, yung issues na yan. So next slide, please. So first, what is apologetics? It is from the Greek apologia, which is a formal defense of one's position. It is a theological science whose aim is the reasoned defense of the Christian faith. Now, I would like to give a caution dito. I am not a theology major. So my major is philosophy. I am not a dogmatic theologian. But my interest in apologetics is derived primarily from my experiences as a young person when I was young, and then later my experiences in the mission. My orientation is not dogma going down, but from praxis going up. Bakit mahalaga ito? It does not come because truth is important, not just that truth is important, but rather because truth is important as lived in the life of individuals. And that's something sometimes that we forget. Now, let me give a concrete experience where I'm coming from. Nung ako ay na-assign sa Calayan, there are 2 outstanding experiences that I can never forget relative to non-Catholics. The first is, mayroong isang matandang babae na very devout who comes to Mass regularly. But one time, she was not able to attend. And I soon found out na yung kanyang asawa who belonged to a non-Catholic sect, binubugbog siya. kasi pinipilit siya na umalig sa kanilang grupo. So, pinipilit talaga, pinapalayas. The second experience is doon naman sa isang isla, Babuyan Claro, which became majority evangelical in the 2000s. Prior to that, for the past 400 years, they were Catholic. Pero noong 2000 o 1990s, dumating doon yung isang evangelical missionary, isang translator ng Biblia from the Greek original and Hebrew, sinalin niya sa Ivatan, which is the language of the people in the Babuyanes. And because of the goodness of this evangelical translator scholar, he was able to convert the people there. 75 of the population of 2,000 plus became evangelicals, and only about 400 to 450 remained Catholics. Yung mga mayayaman at edukado, they became evangelicals. But the poor, most of them, they remained Catholics. Ang nangyari ay, when I went there, now as a member of a minority religion, I went there and I was expecting na magkakaroon ng antagonism between us. And I tried to forestall that possibility. Nagpunta ako dun sa elder ng church na ito, yung founder, first convert ni Dr. Marie Filipino, and this convert was an old man, Ilocano, and nagpunta ako sa kanya, pinakilala ko yung ating sarili. And at the beginning, he started sharing about his journey from Catholicism to evangelical. And then I also told him about my story. And then later we found ourselves crying, umiiyak about the goodness of God in having brought us to these particular aspects of our lives. He, from a Catholic to an evangelical, me, from a person na galing sa Ilocos, naging pare na assign ngayon sa Calayan. And it was a beautiful experience. Later on, inimbitahan ko siya na magbigay ng sharing sa kapilya ng mga Katoliko. And it was a beautiful experience. Later, we also went to the chapel of the evangelicals, and it was again a beautiful experience. Now, am I telling you this? To show to you that hindi one size fits all when we talk about apologetics. Apologetics, the defense of the faith. Apologetics, the relation between peoples of different faiths, must come in relation to what the Spirit leads us. All in all, dapat yung primary consideration natin, ano po? Ay, yung grandia po ba yun? I'm not sure po. Grandia po yung, hindi po yata sa amin yun. Nandun po sa gilid. Ay, WQX332. May nakaharap po na sasakyan. Okay, sige po. So, where was I? I was talking about the relation between us. Sometimes, may mga sekta na kaaway talaga. May mga grupo din na friendly towards us. And it's up to the discernment of each one of us how to relate to them. So, but the important thing is that sometimes we need to defend the faith. Bakit? What is Catholic apologetics? It's the rational case we build for our Catholic faith, explaining and defending the truth of Christianity and more specifically Catholicism. Says here that the Catholic faith is the fullness of Christian truth as revealed by Jesus Christ. Yun nga yung turo ng simbahan, di ba? That the church subsists in the Catholic Church and all the means of salvation is possible only within her. The others are only ecclesial communions kasi hindi lahat sa kanila nandoon yung mga instruments of grace, except perhaps in an incomplete manner yung mga Orthodox. Next slide. What is Catholic? Next, click. Not an apology in the sense of saying sorry, but in the classical sense of defense through argumentation by means of reason. Specifically, our instruments are sacred scripture, sacred tradition, magisterium, philosophy, theology, and even the natural and hard sciences. The goal is not to win arguments, but to lead others closer to Christ. Kahit nanalo ka sa argument, kung yung argumentation mo nakagawa ka ng kaaway, it's not the work of the Spirit. Rather, there should always be charity. I confess to you sometimes na talagang nagbabardag ko ng ano. So sometimes that's my feeling also. Kasi may mga grupo talaga na hindi ka tatantanan. So next po. Next. Click. And stick back. So what's important is that all of us, so sabi ni, why apologetics? Sabi ni Venerable Fulton Sheen, there are not 100 people in the United States, not just the US, but the world, who hate the Catholic Church. But there are millions who hate what they wrongly perceive the Catholic Church to be. It's the sad truth na na-realize ko na sometimes yung ilang mga kaibigan natin na pastor are not very honest when they present the teachings of the church sa kanilang mga miyembro. Halimbawa, yung teaching natin about what the church is, itinuturo nila pala, marami sa kanila, they teach na para sa ating mga Katoliko, the church is just a building and not a community of believers. Kaya kung gano'n yung ano nila sa atin, pati diba yung mga statues and images na tayo ay nag-worship sa mga saints, in any argumentation, in any apologetic relations, dapat you present the argument of the opposing side in the best possible way. Huwag mong i-misrepresent yung kanyang position. Pero marami sa kanila, they misrepresent it. Kaya masabi ni Venerable Sheen, there are millions who hate what they wrongly perceive the Catholic Church to be. No? Next slide. Okay. In the Catholic Church, it has always been apart. Okay? Sabi nga ni Saint Peter, always be prepared to give a defense to everyone who asks you the reason for the hope that is in you. Ano ba yung reason kung bakit tayo mayroong pag-asa? Ano ba yung rason kung bakit tayo may pananampalataya? Okay, next slide. There are two kinds of apologetics. The first one, internal apologetics, apologia to the inside. Yung purpose nito ay yung palakasin, yung pananampalataya ng mga mayroon ng pananampalataya. Sometimes kasi yung tinatawag natin is continuing formation. Hindi sapat na nagkaroon ka ng catechism at nabinyagan ka, then titigil na. Alam ko, marami sa inyo maraming tanong, di ba? Bakit may statwa? Bakit may mga images? Now, yung purpose ng internal apologetics is to answer the questions of those who are inside. Okay. External apologetics naman is the defense of the church, particularly against the attacks of those who are outside of the church. Next slide. Okay. Apologetics. In classical apologetics, defense against misconceptions and slander, defense against heresy, Justin Martyr, Tertullian, Origen, Augustine of Hippo, ang mga primary na mga defenders natin in classical apologetics. Next. Okay. Part ito sa Middle Ages, di ba? It's part of the ministry of the Dominicans, integral to the identity of the Dominicans, yung defense of the Catholic faith. Ito na, obscure na. Ito halimbawa, Saint Dominic was arguing with the innkeeper. He had not yet established the Dominicans, but he came into contact with an Albigensian innkeeper, and he spent the entire night convincing him about the truthfulness of the church, and he returned to the Catholic faith. Yun pa yung argument regarding the works. Tinapon nila, the ordeal by fire, yung mga libro ng mga heretics at libro ng mga Kristiyano, itinapon, inilagay sa apoy, and the book of St. Dominic emerged unscathed, hindi nasunog. And then later on, the Dominicans became the defenders of the faith. Click. Kaya nga, ang tawag sa Dominicans, Domini Canis, the hounds of the Lord, the dogs of the Lord, whose bark and his bite protects orthodoxy, protects doctrine from false teachings. And next. Okay. In the Tridentine Church, this is in the 16th century, with the emergence of the Protestants, the focus now is to counter the arguments of the new communions. Anti-Protestant counter-offensive, di ba? Yung mga grupo na to, mga Lutherans, yung mga Presbyterians, Calvinists, Anglicans, ito yung mga apat na pangunahing mga Protestants. And then later, out of them, come the other thousands and thousands of non-Catholic groups. Yung mga born again and the Iglesia ni Cristo are now only a part of this strand of separation and heresy that split from the church. Yung emphasis ng Tridentine Church, I would just like to focus, defense of dogmatic authority, intellectual and systematic, emphasis on unity and universality, and the militant church, fortress church, extra ecclesia, nullia, salus. Anong ibig sabihin ng fortress church? Yung simbahan na to, ang lahat ay kalaban niya. Kaya yung ating mga simbahan during the Spanish period, ano yung structure niya? Massive, strong, fortress, hindi mapasok ng demonyo. Kasi yun yung image na gusto niyang ipakita. Kahit anong sagawin ng demonyo, anong gawin ng mga erehe, ng mga heretics, they will not overcome. So, a fortress mentality. At yung motto nito, have you heard this one? Extra, ecclesia, nullia, salus. Anong sabihin? Outside of the church, there is no salvation. Sa labas ng simbahan, walang kaligtasan. Kung hindi ka Katoliko, ikaw ay mapupunta sa impyerno. But may mga limitations ito. It's not that strict. Pero ito yung motto ng mga Katoliko. Extra ecclesia, nullia, salus. Next. Post-Vatican II apologetics. So yung apologetics before Vatican II, it was essentially antagonistic. Kaaway ang turing nito sa mga Protestante at lahat ng mga religion na hindi Katoliko. But there was a change in Vatican II, 1962 to 1965. In the decree on religious tolerance, sabi niya, whatever is true in other religions and other spiritual beliefs, the Catholic Church affirms them. Lahat ng tao, ang turo ng simbahan na, ay mayroong ray of light na nanggagaling sa Diyos at maaring makapagturo sa kanila para sila ay magkaroon ng kaligtasan. But it still affirms that the fullness of the truth can be found only in the Catholic Church. It does not, however, condemn other religions as the works of the devil. Hindi automatic. Kasi lahat sila comes from the promptings of the human soul for communion with the divine. And because it comes from a true longing, then we cannot condemn it, although the expressions might be incomplete or obscure. Next. Okay. In the Philippine Church, after Vatican II nang hina yung ating apologetics, wala na masyadong nagdi-defend dito. Kasi nagkaroon nga yung idea, yung error na lahat tayo ay pare-pareho. Yung idea ng equality of all beliefs. Lahat tayo ay pumupunta sa Diyos, pero iba-iba yung paraan, iba-iba yung daan, which is an error. No? Hindi lahat ay pantay-pantay when it comes to God, because there are teachings that are simply incompatible. Okay. So, ngayon, after Vatican II nang hina tayo, but with the rise of non-Catholic groups that are rabid in their attacks against the church, apologetics is again slowly gaining traction in the Philippines. Para sa atin ngayon sa Pilipinas, ito yung mga pangunahin ng mga grupo. Although, there are also other groups. The Catholic Faith Defenders, Defensores Fidei, Catholic Faith Apologists, Catholic Faith Lay Apostolic Movements. Yeah. Karamihan ng mga defenders natin ay nasa Visayas and Mindanao. Siguro dahil may mga hindi Katoliko like Muslims and maraming mga born again and Protestant groups na nagpunta doon during the American period, kaya naging malakas yung apologetics doon. But now it is also gaining traction in Luzon and in Manila, lalong-lalo na online. Next. Some individuals engaged in polemical apologetics. Ito yung pakikipagdebate. We call this polemical apologetics. Pakikipagdebate. Father Darwin Dipgano, foremost ito yung pari na nakikipagdebate sa mga iglesia at sa mga pastor. Father Darwin. Father Richmond Milo was murdered in 2017 when he was about to debate the Iglesia ni Cristo. Binaril siya sa isang kapilya. And then Brother Angelo Dueñas, taga-Tarlac ito, kalasag ng Katotohanan Radio Show. Brother Marco Evangelista, hindi ko na yata. Brother Burns Kaasi ito, Catholic who became an evangelical and later became, he returned to the church and now is host of a YouTube channel promoting Catholicism. And then next see, Brother J. Aruga, the Sentinel, conservative Catholic yan. Yung approach naman niya ay culture and philosophy. Okay, so marami pang iba, dumarami sila. And the strange thing is that sometimes marami sa mga apologists ay mga dating protestante at mga pastor. Look at the next slide please. Okay. Converts engaged in polemical apologetics. Brother Noe Dora and his association of born-again pastors converted to the Catholic faith. Ito, si Brother Noe. Siya ay pinanganak na born again. Yung pamilya niya ay born again. Sino nang nakarinig ng kanyang talk? I invited him once in Pangasinan and another isa pang beses dun sa Kalayan. Halos gumulong-gulong ka sa katatawa. Magaling siyang speaker. And he's the leader and founder of a group of pastors and pastoras who became Catholics. Mga 300 yung members nila. They are based in Cebu. Magaling siya. And nagbibigay na siya ng talk. Nagbigay na siya ng talk sa UST. Nagbigay na siya ng talk sa mga parishes dito sa Manila. I'm not sure kung nagbigay na rin siya ng talk dito sa Santo Domingo. Si Tatang Larry Malyari, kaklase siya ni Edgardo Manalo, yung executive minister ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Seminarista siya dun sa Central Temple nila, but he became Catholic and later hosted an apologetic show in Radio Veritas. Sad to say he died 2 years ago. But he came also twice in Calayan at doon he exposed the errors of the Iglesia. Kaya maraming bumalik because of him. Ito naman si Brad Calix, Al Calixtro, is a Baptist pastor. He converted only last December 2024. He joined us in Calayan also last May of 2025. Marami rin mga Baptist ang naliwanagan because of his sharing. Ito naman mag-asawa, Brother Bu Gakrama, Sister Aden Dora, who is the sister of Brother Noe. Siya ay Presbyterian pastor, may sarili ng simbahan sa South Korea. He gave that up and he became a Catholic. We invited them twice also in Calayan. Very good. Ito yung mga ano. So look at this. Mga matatalino, mga devout na mga pastors and pastoras who became Catholics. They left their finances, their social networks, the respect that they earn from the born-again and non-Catholic believers to join us in an uncertain future. Pero sila nga ay nandito hanggang ngayon. The best evidence of the truth of the Catholic faith. Next slide. Okay. I heard this in among some of the theologians na mga Dominicans. Ayaw nila kasi yung apologetics. I know, Brother Nestor knows this, mga konti lang kami ng mga apologies ng mga Dominicans. Kasi sabi nila, bakit ka makikipag-debate? Bakit ka makikipag-argue? When, sabi ni St. Augustine, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose. It will defend itself. Kasi not necessary daw in the age of ecumenism because it is divisive and ego-centered. It is divisive. But we have to accept the fact that we are already divided. And not defending the faith will not unify us at all. Kung hindi natin ipagtanggol yung simbahan, hindi lamang sila ay hindi makukumbinsi sila, makakakuha pa sila ng mga bago nilang miyembro at masisira yung maraming bagay. Mamaya we will look into that. Actually, yung quote nito ay hindi galing kay St. Augustine. St. Augustine never said anything about that. It was uttered, paraphrased by a Protestant pastor, si R.C. Sproul. So, this is a misattribution. Okay? So, next slide. Okay. No, the truth is not like a lion. In the early church, the truth was something that needed to be defended. We had to defend the truth against the Pelagians. We had to defend the truth against the Arians. We had to defend the truth against the barbarians. In the modern world, we have to defend it against the atheists, against the Protestants, against those who favor abortion, euthanasia, divorce, LGBTQ. Hindi ba kailangan natin ipaliwanag? Hindi ba kailangan natin ipagtanggol? Hindi ba natin kailangan ipagpilitan na ito ang totoo? At hindi maaaring sabihin, okay lang. Kung ano yung gusto mong paniwalaan, okay lang. No. Otherwise, people will go straight into hell. And it will lead to many lives lost. Kung hindi natin ipagtanggol, kung hindi natin ipaliwanag. Next slide. Okay. Now, look. In the 1980s, the Second Plenary Council was already very specific on the need for apologetics, sabi niya. Okay. The coming of aggressive fundamentalist groups in great numbers to our shores with the avowed aim of evangelizing Filipinos has created a special problem for the Church. Their persistence, their use of radio, TV, and print media, their attacks on Catholic teachings and practices, especially against Marian devotion and use of religious statues, have won over a great number of Catholics. Diba? Dati, yung Catholics, we numbered about 87 to 85% in the 1940s. Alam niyo kung ilan na lang yung Katoliko ngayon? 78%. Every year, kumakonti tayo. And most likely, mas konti pa. Kasi yung iba, hindi na nila sinasabi na hindi na sila Katoliko. Okay, next. We must today be able and willing to defend our teachings on the public forum. And we need to equip the faithful so that they can defend their faith. Parish priests must support and encourage the training of lay Catholic faith defenders. This is an area where we, the priests, have failed you. Sino na sa inyo na may nagturo sa kaninyo kung paano sagutin yung tungkol sa rebulto? Sino sa inyo yung may nagturo na kung paano sagutin yung pagsabi na si Maria at mga santo ay Diyos-Diyosan? Sino na yung nagtumulong sa inyo na nagturo na yung rosaryo ay hindi pa ulit-ulit na dasal na walang kabuluhan? All of these are the attacks that they constantly use against us. But has there been a systematic explanation sa inyo ng mga ating mga kasamang kaparian about this? No? For most of us, the catechesis that we received ended after First Communion. Isn't that true? Sino sa inyo yung nagkaroon ng formation apart from what we have received in the charismatic? Nadagdagan yung kaalaman due to efforts by the parishes para madagdagan yung ating kaalaman. No, mabibilang natin siguro. Kahit gusto natin sagutin, pero nauutal tayo kasi hindi natin alam kung ano yung sasabihin. Ilabas lang nila yung Biblia, turo nila yung Biblia, nangangatog ka na. Hindi mo na alam kung anong isasagot mo. When in fact, the Bible is ours and all the answers are there. The only thing is hindi tayo na-train, hindi tayo naturuan. Okay. So next, sabi nito, yung PCP2 mismo, the lay faithful must be quick to explain and defend the faith. Actually, pati sa aming mga pari, kulang yan. Alam ba ninyo na sa seminaryo, walang training kung paano nasagutin yung mga protestante. Alam namin yung Biblia, tuturo sa aming mga Greek, Hebrew, Latin, pero hindi kami nagfo-focus sa mga iba't ibang sekta. Kung sinabi halimbawa ng Jehovah's Witness ganito, sinabi ng Iglesia ganito, sinabi ng Born Again ganito, hindi namin alam kung saan sila nanggaling. Hindi namin alam kung paano sila sasagutin. Kasi apologetics was removed as part of the curriculum. All in the name of ecumenism. Kapag nandun na rin kami sa mga parishes namin, na din kami. Kung dumating na yung ministro ng iglesia, may mga pari dyan na ayaw sumagot. Natatakot. Kung dyan yung pastor ng Born Again, na yung pari din, nagkukubli. Kasi hindi rin niya masagot. It was not part of our training. Why? Because of the false sense of ecumenism. Let us be kind. Let us be gentle. And perhaps by our gentleness and charity, they will be convinced of the truth of the Catholic faith. But it's not always the case. It will not always work. You have to be a lion. You have to be a lion. Okay, huwag na bang ahas? Lion. Next slide. Okay, so apologetics in context. Where I'm coming from? Dito ako nanggaling sa mga islands na to. This is Pabuyan Claro, this is Camiguin, this is Dalupiri, this is Calayan, and this is Fuga. This has been the mission of the Dominicans since 1609. So, matagal na to, pero there was 150 years na walang Dominican na nagpunta dyan. And nakabalik na lang kami noong 1954. At alam nyo, there were many years na walang pari dito. Pero nanatili yung simbahan, nanatili yung pananampalataya ng mga tao. Lalong-lalo na dito sa Fuga. Alam niyo yung Fuga, ang laki ng simbahan, itinayo ni San Francis ni Father Jeronimo Morer. At doon nabuhay yung isang santo, si San Francisco de Capillas, 1632 to 1639. Mamaya makita niyo yung picture. Ang laki ng simbahan. Umalis yung mga Dominicans noong 1745. After that, wala nang pari na nakatira doon. Pero yung simbahan at pananampalataya ng mga tao, it remains to this day. Kahit na kapag may mamatay, alam niyo kung nangyayari kung may mamatay? Walang pare, walang lay minister. Ang gagawin lang nila magrosaryo. Magrosaryo yung mga tao. Nakaawa. Pero that is the only thing that remained. Their faith in Christ, their faith in Mary, and their trust in the church. Kahit na they were neglected for more than 100 years. No? Next slide. Ito yung simbahan. We started building this in the 1620s. Na-kompleto in the 1640s. May mga tombs na mga Dominicans dito. Malaki. Parang Santo Domingo yung nito. Kasi for 150 years, ito yung headquarters ng mga Dominicans when they went to evangelize the Babuyanes, Batanes, Taiwan, and China. 1745, it was abandoned and the people were abandoned. No? Ngayon, this is now St. Bartholomew Church. This was built by an American Dominican in the 1990s. It stands as a testament to the enduring reality of the Catholic faith in these islands. No? Next slide, please. Ano ito? Tuwing Biyernes Santo, ito yung way of the cross nila. I joined them last year. Naiiyak ako kasi yung kanilang panalangin Latin, Ilocano at Latin. Tapos, gitnang tanghali, they walk around and then they prostrate themselves on the ground. Yung old way of the cross ang kanilang sinusunod. And they are very devout. Walang training sa Bible. Wala nga silang Bible. Walang training about the liturgy. But they lead the people in their prayers. Yan ito. Yung mga tawag sa kanila mga servientes. The servants. Okay, next. This is in Fuga Island. Until the 2000s, bawal pumasok yung outsider. Kasi private hacienda. Kapag pumupunta ka doon, babarilin ka. No? Next. Now, non-Catholic groups in the Magallanes. So ngayon, we have Iglesia ni Cristo, Baptist, Born Again, Sabatista. Ayan. Okay. So, pito. Sa pito, may saksi ni Jehovah pa, pero dito na nilagay. Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. Dalawang klase. Some of them are kind and charitable when they deal with us. Others, they are our sworn enemies. Kasi talagang pinupuntirya yung mga Katoliko. Next. Religious affiliation in the Babuyanes. Catholic, we arrived in 1609. Number of adherents, 16,000. 81.2% of the population. Until the 2000, that's 100%. Sorry, until the 1960s. Baptist, dumating 2,000. Number of adherents, 1,000. 5%. Iglesia ni Cristo, 2,000. Kunti pa lang sila. 350 pa lang. 1.8%. Born again evangelicals, sila yung marami. 2,000, 10.2%. Methodist, kumukonti sila. 150 na lang, 0.7%. Marami sa kanila lumilipat sa Katoliko. Jehovah's Witnesses were about 100.5. Seventh-day Adventists about 100.5. So, yung pinakamalaki pa rin ay yung Catholic. Pero kung titignan natin, dumarami yung dalawang grupo. Itong Baptist at saka yung Born Again. No? Alam ba ninyo na when I go to Cagayan, hindi yung mga dalawa palagi yung grupo na nagkukompetensya sa dami ng mga kapilya. Una, Iglesia ni Cristo. Pangalawa yung Baptist. Hindi lang ito nanonotice, but they are the most aggressive when it comes to evangelization. No, tatlo actually. Evangelicals, the born again groups, Baptist, and the Iglesia ni Cristo. And they are open in their attack against the church. No? Okay, next. What about in the whole Philippines? Until the 1960s, 84% are Catholics. Islam, 45%. Iglesia ni Cristo, negligible, aglipay. High, born again churches, 2.3%. 2010, Catholics. In the space of 30 years, it's now bumaba ng 4%. Islam, tumaas ng 2%. Iglesia ni Cristo, tumaas na ng 2.3%. Aglipay bumaba, born again churches, tumaas ng 10%. Ngayon, Catholics, after 10 years, bumaba tayo ng 1.2%. Then, Islam, tumaas, 6.4%. Iglesia ni Cristo, tumaas, 2.6%. Aglipay, 0.8%. Born again, 10 to 13%. If my theory is correct, dalawang grupo yung tumataas. Una, ay yung born again churches, at pangalawa yung Iglesia ni Cristo. Pero yung Iglesia ni Cristo, not so much, dahil may impact yung away ng mga magkakapatid at ng kapamilya na ito. Diba? In-excommunicate ni Edgardo Manalo yung kanyang nanay at pinabulldozer niya yung kanilang bahay. Yung nanay niya ngayon ay nandun sa abroad at hindi tinutugis o nagtatago dahil nga kay Edgardo Manalo na sariling anak niya. Okay. But the trend here, next slide, key takeaways. First, Catholicism is in gradual decline. Not as rapid as in Brazil, which is now only 60% Catholic, 40% evangelical, when before it was 90% Catholic. Until the 1960s, it is 90%. Ngayon, it's only 60%. Sabi ng iba nga, mga 50% na lang Catholics doon. Okay? Anglicanism is on decline. Actually, nakakakuha lang sila kasi ginagaya nila tayo, di ba? Hindi mo na ma-distinguish yung Anglipay. Sa Catholic, di nyo pa rin sila may asawa yung kanilang pare. At may mga babaeng pare sila. No? But they present themselves as Catholic. Okay. Islam is on the rise dahil ang dami nila kung mga anak, ang dami kong mag-asawa. Next, Iglesia ni Cristo is on the rise. Evangelicalism is on the rise. Ano lang ang nagdi-decline? Yung Katoliko at saka yung Anglicanism. Bakit? Okay. Anyway. Let's go to, sabi ko kanina, from the ground up, yung ating insights about apologetics. Okay. Next. Okay lang ba? The First Methodist Church arrived in Calayan in the 1960s when a Calayanan was converted during the stay in the mainland. Isang pamilya lang. Nadagdagan dahil yung isang ikakasal, na-late sila sa kasal. Kaya yung Amerikano na pari doon ng missionary, ayaw na niyang ikasal. Eh nakakatay na yung baboy. So, hindi tinuloy yung kasal, nasayang yung kinatay, nagalit yung pamilya, sumawali na sa Methodist. Ayan. So, one family. Although ngayon, yung kanilang pastora, si Pastora Wilma, is a very good friend. No? Once in a while, kapag may Methodist na naging Catholic, tumupunta rin siya para tumulong sa funeral mass. No? Nagkakaroon ng prayer dun sa cemetery. Okay? Next. Yung witness nila, nagkaroon ng split dahil sa LGBTQ. Yung isang progressive wing ng mga Methodist para sa gay marriage and gay clergy, married gay clergy. Yung iba naman ay conservative. I don't know kung dito sa Pilipinas nagkaroon ng weakness na rin dyan. Hindi alam ng mga membro kung ano na yung kanilang paniwalaan. Yung theology ng Methodist is inclusive, meaning they do not condemn Catholics to hell. Sinasabi nila, all of us are part of God's church. May respeto sila sa mga Katoliko. Okay, next slide. The Babuyan Claro Christian Fellowship, ito yung mga evangelicals na itinayo doon sa isang island na sinabi ko kanina. We also have very good working relationship with them. The only thing is nag-split sila. Okay. Established in the 1990s by Professor Randall Marie and sees the Catholic Church in the benign terms despite differences in theology. Sabi niya, magtayo ako ng simbahan kasi walang pari dito at kawawa naman yung mga tao. Hindi dahil sabi niya, mali yung mga Katoliko, magtayo ako ng bagong simbahan. Wala kasing pare, kaya nagtayo siya. Pero nire-respeto niya yung simbahan. And the original members of the church respect us also. Yung problema ay yung mga bago. Okay? Next. The Jehovah's Witnesses and the Seventh-day Adventists, they are not so active sa proselytizing. Next is the Baptist churches, ito yung pinakamarami, 4 sila, pero iba-ibang branch. Kasi yung mga Baptist din ay iba-iba yung kanilang theology. Yung iba, yung kanilang palda hanggang dito. Mahaba yung buhok. Yung iba, pwedeng gitara, pwedeng piano. Iba-iba yung kanilang sa mga bagay na ito. Sa Bible Baptist, Fundamentalist Baptist, Free Baptist. Depende sa kanila. Pero lahat sa kanila, opposed sa simbahan. Okay. The thing is, the most openly anti-Catholic, they are trained from the beginning to evangelize Catholics. And they actively seek to influence local politics and education. They are exclusivists in theology. Catholics will go to hell. Okay, next. Okay. The Iglesia ni Cristo, konti lang sila, and most of their converts come from marriage. Ngayon, hindi na sila ganun ka-active. Next slide. Exclusivist din sila. The born-again churches arrived in the 2000s from converts in the mainland. One strange thing is, isa sa mga simbahan ng born-again, itinatag ng isang dating madre, isang dating misyonera. You know? So, nakapag-asawa ng Methodist, and then later on, she established her own born-again church. Nakapag-ulungkot, no? They are very active in proselytizing with focus on the youth. Next. Reasons for conversion. Let's go to what can we take away from these books? Reasons for conversion. Why is it that people convert to these groups? Because the church cannot adequately satisfy their thirst. The young, especially the young, those in far-flung areas na hindi magmadating ng pare, those who are hurting, yung mga may problema, and those who have inadequate exposure to the Word. The thing in many of the areas, even here in Manila, misa lang yung kayang ibigay ng pare. Kasi sa dami ng mga membro, walang nade-develop na sense of community. Sabi ng isang Baptist sa akin, sabi niya, kapag may sakit ako, Father, yung pastor ko, kapag absent ako sa linggo, the next Monday, bibisitahin niya ako at tatanungin, kumusta ka na? Yung pare, dati, kahit may mamatay sa pamilya namin, pupunta lang kapag, dun sa simbahan kapag pinilibing. Isn't that the case? No? How many of you have been visited by a priest sa inyong mga bahay? Before you're coming to the charismatic. Siguro sa dami rin ng ng trabaho ng pare. No? Pero, that's one thing, devoid of a sense of community. Kulang yung sense of community. Next. Reasons for conversion. Lack of catechesis and formation of adults, lack of priestly presence, bad experiences with some members of the church, bad experiences with the priest. May mga ganun sa mga pare. Merong isang teacher na lay minister, may binyag ng kanyang anak dun sa bundok. So, nagkatay na siya ng baboy sa experience, expecting na darating yung pare. Umulan, hindi kaya ng pare na maglakad. Kasi ito ay from Manila. So, bundok. So, hindi nakapunta. Ang ginawa ng teacher, hapon na, kinuha niya yung kanyang baby, minutor niya, dinala din sa sentro at doon bininyagan, then bumalik siya. Dahil napakaputi. So, that's one. Next year, nanganak ulit yung anak. Same ang nangyari. Hindi nakapunta yung pare. Anong nangyari? The next year, nung ako na yung pare, yung lay minister na ito, naging Baptist na. Tinanong ko kung bakit, dahil ba masama yung loob mo, dahil sa nangyari sa anak mo? Sabi ko, hindi po, Father. Kasi nung bata ako, nagtitinan ako sa mga Baptist. Gusto ko lang bumalik sa kanila, sabi niya. Now he is the principal of the senior high school in the mountains and the number one enemy of the church. Yung mga kabataan ng mga high school, kinukuha niya para sumama sa kanila. Next. Material benefits to receive from the church. Every Saturday, yung mga Baptist at born again, dala-dala bigas, payless, dilata, pinupunta ng mga mahihirap. Kasi lahat sila obligated 10%. So kapag membro na sila, papawin din nila. Pero ngayon, tanggap lang ng tanggap. No? Maraming material benefits na binibigyan. Okay, marriage. Sa atin, okay lang, di ba, na makapangasawa ng hindi katoliko. No? Pero sa kanila hindi pwede. You have to convert. Lalo na yung mga iglesia. And don't you know that a family na magkaiba yung religion ay mahirap, walang unity. At kapag halimbawa, yung isang miyembro ng pamilya ninyo na convert, kapag halimbawa mag-reunion kayo, may namatay. This happens very frequently in the islands. Namatay yung parents, pero yung isang anak iglesia, isang anak born again, isang anak Baptist, away yan. Kasi yung may pera na hindi katoliko, ipagpilitan niya. Hindi niyo nadalhin niya sa simbahan. Mag-worship na lang tayo dito. Kung sino yung may pera, yun ang masusunod. Yung katoliko na pobre, hindi na pakikinggan. No? So, lalong-lalo na yung mga kasi, yung mga Kapag pumupunta sa mainland, oftentimes, they are, sa campus din sila na evangelize. Yung mga klase nila na Baptist or born again, halika, sama ka sa amin, masaya dito, palaging may merienda tuwing linggo. At yung pobre na to, na kulang yung allowance, na galing dun sa island, kumbinsido dahil sa gutom. No? So, later on, magkakaroon ng cell groupings. Pagbalik sa Kanayan, Bible woman na siya, o Bible man, magtuturo ng mga kabataan. Next slide. So, wait, pakiwari. Influence of relatives and friends and doctrinal. Last, yung doctrinal disagreements. Makikita natin, pati dito sa mainland, oftentimes, yung pagsimulan ng pag-anig sa kanila, friendships. Kaya yung mga born again, di nyo nakikita. Yung mga taga-welcome, yung pinakamaganda at yung pinaka-gwapo. Di ba? Tayo, sinong nag-welcome sa atin? Yung magwapo ba o maganda? Yung magwapong matatanda. Magagandang matatanda, pero matatanda. No? So, makita niyo yung witness natin kung minsan, no? So, ayan, next. Okay. Results, effects of conversion. Positive effects. Nagkakaroon ng increase in fervor. Bilib ka naman nagbabago sila. Hindi na manginginom. Hindi na nambubugbog ng asawa. Palagi nilang hawak yung Bible. Mabait na sila. Pero nagkaroon ng isang bisyo. Anong bisyo? Atakihin yung Katoliko. So, yun. Inalis yung pag-iinom, pero umatake na sa Katoliko. Ayan. Okay, next. Negative effects. Profound divisions in the family. Nawala yung unity. All Saints Day, umuwi sila lahat. Walang prayer. Walang mass. Christmas, umuwi sila. Away-away iyan. May namatay, away-away iyan. Bakit? Magkakaiba na ng pananampalataya. Religion is supposed to unite, religare to connect. Religion instead has become a cause of division. Kaya kapag yung anak ninyo nagsisimba sa mga born again, huwag niyong sabihin, magiging mabait iyan na bata. Yes, magiging mabait iyan. Pero kapag namatay kayo, hindi niya kayo dadalhin sa simbahan. No? Kahit sabi niyo, dalhin niyo ako sa simbahan, hindi niya susundin yan. Kasi marami sa kanila, laing mga Baptist, ang mga born again, Pentecostals, gawa ng demonyo iyan. Walang magsisimba. Walang magdadala sa inyo sa simbahan. Next. Lack of coherence in the local community. Nadidivide yung barangay. Nadidivide. Pati nga sa school nadadamay. Kasi kapag JS Prom, sa barangay dito, tuwing JS Prom, may mga iglesyang bata na gustong magsayaw. Gustong makisayaw. Yung ministro nila umiikot sa gym. Tinitignan kung sino yung mga iglesia ng mga kabataan. Tapos tatawagin niya at sesermonan. No? Kapag may fiesta, kahit hindi tatapat yung fiesta sa araw ng fiesta ng santo, ayaw magbigay ng contribution. Ayaw tumulong sa paglilinis. Kapag may activity yung simbahan para dito, ayaw nila. Kasi they set themselves apart. Yes, we respect them. But nagkakaroon na ng yung iba pa nga yung turo ng pastor, huwag kayong bumili sa mga Katoliko. Bumili kayo sa store ng mga kapwa natin na Baptist. Para yung kita mapunta sa kanila, mapunta sa atin. We do not teach that, diba? Pero sa kanila, no? So, yung mga methods na to, okay? Cultural severance of members and loss of their heritage. Nawawala yung mga panasal sa patay, wala yung sense of community sa Pasko at sa fiesta. Weakening of church influence over politics, education, and morality. Sa politics, halimbawa, barangay elections later. Ngayon, nagkakanvas na yung mga iglesia kung sino yung kanilang biniboto. Tayo, do we vote for those who are good Catholics? Or do we vote because they follow Duterte? No? Or we vote because they follow Lenin? Or we vote because they follow Bongbong? No. Focus also on the goodness of the person. No? And their position also relative to the church. Okay, next. Responses of the local church. This is now the point that I would like you also to consider in how you can build a church. Creation and strengthening of the BECs sa inyong mga lokal. Regular house visitation conducted by the priest and the officers of the BEC. Kayo, may house to house ba? Okay, charismatic, maganda po yan. Third, building of chapels and installation of local leaders and ministers. Employment of a full-time paid catechist to assist the volunteers. Invitation of apologies from the mainland. Dito, lalong-lalo na dito, marami sana kayo pwedeng tawagin. And open it, wag lang dito sa Santo Domingo. Punta kayo sa mga streets natin and have a speaker, a good speaker, dating pastor, dating pastora, para makita nila na yung movement is not just Catholic becoming non-Catholic, but also pastor and pastora nagiging Katoliko. May pari na bang nag-born again? Wala. Pero maraming pastor na naging Catholic. Okay, next. Okay. So, this one is an Iglesia ni Cristo na sa isang area. Naging iglesia sila dahil nag-away yung isang pamilya ng mga born again. Kasi hindi sinuportahan yung kandidato ng pamilya, born again sila lahat, pero yung isang branch ng pamilya hindi sinuportahan yung kandidato. So, naging iglesia na lang sila. And ngayon, susubukan natin sila na pabalikin sa simbahan. Next group. This one, ginagawa rin namin sa mga streets. Magkaroon ng mga lectures about church history, about where the Bible comes from, about teachings na disputed. Pwede nyo gawin yan. Madali na lang, di ba? Mayroon ng PowerPoint na madadownload ka sa internet. Ipaliwanag mo na lang, magbasa ka. Pwede yan sa ating lahat. Don't rely kay Father Simon. No? Easy na yan. Marami nang gagawin. No? Stress na stress, buti na yan, hindi pa nakakalbo si Father Simon. So, ayan, maraming gagawin tayo. Tulong-tulong, dapat tulong-tulong. Okay, next. Okay. From my experience, kapag proactive yung mga tao, kapag tayo ay mananiniwala talaga sa simbahan, naniniwala na nasa atin yung daan para mapabuti yung kaluluwa at maibigay ng kaligtasan ng mga tao, people respond. They respond to fervor. They respond to devotion. Pero kung yung sa tawag namin sa Ilocano, parparaw-paw, yung ganito lang yung nagtatampisaw na bata, hindi kailangan mo sumisid. Kailangan part ka. Lalo-lalo sa ating mga pare. Diba? The priest should smell like the sheep. Hindi dapat nagkukulong sa kumbento yung pare. Kasama dapat ng mga tao. At gano'n rin dapat, hindi lamang nag-aantay kung anong sabihin ni Father. Dapat mayroon din initiative, Father, gawin natin ganito. No? That's what I like in the mission. Kung ano yung ibigay ng pare, dadagdagan at hihigitan nila. Magbigay ka ng nakasolicit ka ng 2,000, magko-contribute sila ng 5,000 para sa mga projects. Kasi whatever the priest gives, when the people notice the dedication of the priest, they will double and they will triple it. Hindi ba? Hindi ba? Pati kayo, di ba? And pati yung mga pare, they are inspired by the dedication of their members. So sana, iron sharpens iron, sabi nga nila. Fire begets fire. So dapat nakikita yun sa ating lahat. Especially in relation to our lukewarm members. Okay. Actually, sa mga bagay din na nanonood ko, increase in parish income. Father Simon, di ba? Lagi nagkukulang yung pera. Lagi nagkukulang ng pera. Sa babuyan, tuwing taon may bagyo. Kaya mamaya wala na naman yung bubong. Naghanap ka ng, saan na magkukuha ng pagpalit ng bubong? 100,000 isang kapilya. So, ayan, nakalkutuloy ako. So, kapag things follow. The things that you need will follow. When follow. So, lapit na po tayo. Nagugutom na yata kayo. Next slide. Besides. it is possible to reverse the trend of conversion. It is important to check the way we look at the church. Is it the one church established by Christ with the fullness of truth, or just one among many? Kapag wishy-washy yung pananampalataya mo, you cannot expect others to believe you. Third, important to check the way we look at conversions. Movement of the Holy Spirit, the one who defeated Diabolos. Sinabi ko na sa inyo, not always that when people convert, they become better. Some of them, they become worse because they start to condemn, they start to divide. May mga converts na nagiging mabait and more understanding, naging malawak yung pagtingin. Pero marami, they cause heartbreak sa kanilang mga kapamilya. No? So, discern carefully kapag ang inyong mga anak ay sumasali sa mga grupo na ito. Advise them instead, join Catholic Bible study groups, join my charismatic group, join this community. Why do you have to go there? Come here. No? Okay, next. Important to look at apologetics as a valid ministry in the church and not something outmoded or divisive. Kailangan natin ito. Important to look at the role of our families in the preservation of the faith of our children. Check ninyo yung mga nililigawan nila. Check ninyo yung mga boyfriend nila. Paka-iglesia yung nakuha. Ay nako, malaking problema kung iglesia yung mapapakasawa ng anak ninyo. Ihihiwalay kayo. No, I'm not demeaning them. Pero ito yung totoo. Hindi lang ihihiwalay, pati pera ninyo. Mapupunta 4 na beses na abuloy tuwing linggo. Significance of catechesis and continuing formation in the public schools and parishes. Need for the Catholics engaged in the ministry of apologetics. Next slide. Okay. Focus on internal apologetics. Tayo. Teach one another. We learn. Second, external apologetics. Not all groups are friends in the ecumenical movement. Some must be seen for who they are. Enemies of the faith, whose goal is power and control. No? Anong grupo dito ang gustong kontrolin ang lahat ng branches ng gobyerno? Nakikita ninyo ngayon sa politics natin kung papaano pinagpipilitan ng isang grupo yung kanilang perspective, pati na yung kanilang kasinungalingan. So, be very careful. Not all are equal partners in the ecumenical movement. Respect them, but some of them are instruments of the diabolical. Let's be honest about this. No? Next. So, the third, last. Strong Catholic identity through doctrine, worship, and morals. No? To end, punta na lang tayo sa last. Ngayon, mayroong resurgence of Catholicism dun sa West. And I'm sure it will follow din dito sa mga kabataan. Ang daming ma-convert sa West. America, Europe, ang daming pumapasok sa simbahan. It will follow also dito sa Pilipinas. Let us pray for that. But, we have to make sure that the Catholicism we give to our young is not the feel-good Catholicism na sinasabi, okay lang kahit anong gawin mo. Okay lang, basta hindi ka nakakasama. Hindi dapat ganon. What we have to ask of them is a religion that teaches them virtue, to aspire to become better than who they are. Yung challenge, people love a challenge. You know, yung sa be holy, diba? Yung challenge, be holy as the Lord your God is holy. The point is, we are Catholics. We are not like everyone else. We have to, si Father Norbert, ito yung sabi niya. There's one group ng mga Dominicans na nagtanong ko. Ugali niya kasi na kapag may mahirap na question, palagi niyang tinatanong yung mga Dominicans. Ngayon nag-complain yung mga Dominican na estudyante niya kasi napapahiya sila kapag hindi sila makasagot. Father, bakit naman kami ang palagi mong pinupuntirya kung wala nang makasagot? Napapahiya kami, sabi niya. Sabi mo estudyante niya. Sagot ni Father Norbert, you are Dominicans. You will be professors. You will be teachers. You will be advisors. You will be leaders. You are not like everyone else. So we expect more from you. That should be the perspective for us Catholics. We should be more. We should be aspiring for greater holiness. Para kapag makita ka ng mga tao, hindi naman sa pinangangalandakan mo, pero the way you speak, the way you move, the way you think, makikita nila that you are inspired by the God in whom you believe. No? Kita nila, evident yan. Like the light that came from Moses when he came down from Sinai. So that, yun lang po. Salamat po. So ito yung simbahan namin sa Canara. At yan yung mga ministers namin. Okay, so for mayroon pong tanong or let's open some comments or some reactions. Po, yung iba, kagaya ko na medyo tumatanda na, inaantok na. Alas 9, tulog na ako. Pero nagigising ako, stress. Ayan. So, may mga reactions po or comments, insights. I didn't focus so much anymore how do we respond to statues, mga attacks, You can research that sa internet. Madali na lang mga yun. The only thing is, I would like you to think that you are part of this movement to explain and defend the church. Meron po? Brother Mark, meron po? Si Father Simon, I heard he's going abroad.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Muli palampakan natin si Father Romel Olivar. Kami po ay nagkasama ng napakaikling panahon lamang, isang buwan. Dahil noong 2018 po, na-destino din po kami sa Calayan. Si Brother Aboy, si Brother Ace at si Brother Leo po. No? So nakita namin kung gaano kasigasig, gaano kasipag si Father Romel doon. At alam nyo na ipinento niya sa inyo, no? Paanong walang nakapasok na Iglesia ni Cristo sa Calayan. No? So, ganon katindi ang paninindigan at pagtatanggol niya sa pananampalataya natin. No? Kaya palampakan ulit natin si Father Romel. No? So sana, mga kaparokya, no? yung sigasig, yung igting ng pananampalataya na nakita natin kay Father Romel, no? Paglabas natin dito sa Santo Domingo, no? Tayo rin nagliliwanag, no? Na mahawa natin yung iba na maging mapanindigan sa ating pananampalataya. No? Kasi marami nang naligaw. No? Alam, Father, meron po kami, nandito po si Ate Connie, meron po tayong sitwasyon sa ating parokya, 10 years ago na po, na meron po tayong fake priest na yung Assyrian, sabi niya Assyrian siya, tapos sabi niya Benedictine siya, sabi niya ay ngayon po ay meron kaming struggle. Nahihirapan po kami doon sa Victory Saradong Gate kasi for 10 years nagmimisa na po siya doon. Tsaka sa likod po ng Funeraria Pass ay nandun po siya at pinagtatanggol na po siya ng mga tao. Kasi 10 years na po sila. No? Yun lang din po ang nakalulungkot sa parte natin mga pari kasi sabi nila mahirap kumuha ng pari sa Santo Domingo. Nasusungit ang mga nasa opisina, tapos magta-tricycle ka pa, tapos hindi pwedeng walang sasakyan daw yung mga pare pag sinusundo. Tapos hirap na hirap silang kumuha ng pari sa atin. Kaya kumukuha sila nung po. Tapos ay mahal na nila yung pari kasi 10 years na pari. No? Pero ang natin doon ay siya ay nagpapanggap. No? Marami siyang kasinungalingan na sinasabi. Kaya hindi ko alam kung ano ang mga susunod na mangyayari, pero may mga ginagawa na po kaming mga tawag dito, mga steps, no? Or hakbang. No? So sa natin ay sana po, no, ay patuloy tayo na maging masigasig din at maging mainting. Tama yung sinabi ni Father kanina, no? Sana huwag laging nakaasa sa pare. Laging ano ba sabi ni Father? No? Dapat kayo rin mismo. At yun po, sa loob po ng 3 years na pamamalagi ko po at pagpapastol sa kanila, nakita ko po na nag-i-spark na po. Alam niyo po ba, meron po kaming bagong prayer room o kapilya. Yung mga tao po namin ay nagpatak-patak mga construction worker po sila sa Don Pepe. Nagpatak-patak po sila mula sa kanilang mga bulsa. No? At nakapagpatayo po sila ng maliit na kwarto. At ngayon po ay prayer room na siya ni San Vicente Beren. So, kitang-kita na po natin yung hindi na po sila walang sinabi yung pare o maglagay kayo dyan ng chapel. Sila mismo. No? Pwede po ba tumayo yung mga tagapamayan ng tent? No? Sila Ate Redy, Ate Maan. No? Palampakan po natin sila. So, yun po. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng umaten. Johanay, Lay Minister, Catechetical, Apostolado ng Panalangin, Santo Niño Chapel, Siyempre, huli na natin yung sponsor, no? Sino pa ba? Legion of Mary, balakpakan natin sila. Family and Life, nandito po sila. Sino pa? Oh, yun lang naman. SSDM po, Social Service, at higit sa lahat ang buhay ng parokya, kaya naka-green sila, ang BEC, palakpakan po natin sila. So, salamat po. Johanay, El Shaddai, meron ba? God is Love, Greeters, wala. Ayun po, God is Love. Okay. Greeters, wala. O, sige po. So, ang SDCC, salamat po sa pag-i-sponsor, no, na magkaroon tayo ng ganitong forum. No? So, maraming salamat po. No? So, Father Mel, no, sa totoo lang, binoto ko kayo isa sa mga maging parish priest. So, kaya lang hindi ko alam kung ano ang desisyon ng community tsaka ng provincial. No? Kaya, pagdasal po ninyo na mas marami pang Father Romel Olivar na ipadala ang Diyos sa atin. No? Kasi kahit saan siya magpunta, no, nagliliwanag, hindi lang po yung kanyang noo, no, pero nakita niyo nagliliwanag yung pananampalataya ng tao. Kahit para siyang yung apoy nung aso ni Santo Domingo, ano man yung madikitan niya, nagliliyab yung pananampalataya. Amen? So pagdasal natin, no, mahirap yung misyon ni Father Romel at kahanga-hanga. Kahit ako, hindi ko siguro kakayanin yun, no? Pero sana ay magpadala pa ang Diyos sa atin ng mas maraming Father Romel Olivar. Amen. Sige po. Meron pa po ba? Sigurado na. Kasi pinagsalita na ako, ibig sabihin tapos na, no? Pero mas maganda sana magsasalita yung ibang mga kaparokya natin, pero baka gutom na po kayo. Kuya Ram, ikaw naman. Sige po. Pakinggan natin ang ating Formation Ministry Head na hindi sinabi ng pare, pero initiative po niya ito, no? So palakpakan natin si Bravo.
Salamat. Kasalanan ako, isang napaka-importante, March 22 pala, meron tayong buklod dasal. Buklod dasal. Meron tayong buklod aral, March 22, Beatitudes, no? Ito po yung vocation to Beatitudes. Ang speaker po natin ay none other than Father Simon Peter Ramos. So this is on March 20, Sunday, 1:30. Nandito rin po. So please try to attend this special Beatitude session po. Okay, so ano sasabihin ko? Sinabi mo nila. Hindi, siguro kung meron akong sasabihin ay yung paghanga niya kay Father Romel. Kasi kung makikita mo sa post niya, makikita mo yung tunay na misyonaryo. Ano ibig kong sabihin? Okay? Makikita mo, he's trekking the mountains just to go to his mission. Katapos, nagbabangka, sumasabay, kung ano nang lipahat lang, pupunta, para makiisa sa kanyang mga parishioners. Ibang klase. Sobrang down to earth, sobrang in touch. Kumbaga, there's such a thing as union religion at its roots na talagang sobrang palpable. Sobrang malapit kay Lord. Sobrang sa nature. Makikita mo yung sense of nature, sense of yung simpleng-simple talaga. Which is the most beautiful thing I think. So yun lang naman. So pagkakahanga ko, hindi lang kay Father Romel, kundi yung presence ni Father Simon sa ating parokya. Sabi huwag nyo kalimutan, yung booklet formation po natin ay initiative ni Father Simon. So, sana magiging, right now, we're actually implementing it, no? On a parish-wide basis. Nandito po kayo lahat. So, sana magkakontinue po natin information kasi endless po yun talaga. So, sana yung, kung meron man yun, ano, yung tinutulong Father Simon sa atin, tuloy-tuloy po tayo yung information po. Wala talagang, walang katapusan. Okay, so yun lang po. Thank you so much. Ang dami na sinasabi mo. So, ano po. Okay, thank you so much for everybody. Father Robert? Father Simon?
So salamat po, and Brother Mark. I'd like to take this chance to say thank you kay Brother Mark and to the others who are helping us in the mission. In the past 6 years, we built 6 chapels because of all of you who supported us. Wala pong kapera-pera. Marami pong tinutulong. So thank you po, and salamat for the chance to be with you.
Siguro po photo opportunity tayo, lahat po ng umaten, no? Kung kasya tayo, paano, dito na lang po ba? Nasa po ang ating photographer? Kerubin, ikaw na lang ba? Yan po. Sige, tayo po tayo lahat, doon tayo sa gitna. Yan po. Tapos ay camera po.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more po. 1, 2, 3.